Hi Gemini, welcome to your reading. This is a special reading backed by popular demand from last month, so it's just an energy check. Let me bring this up a little bit. There we go. So it's an energy check for June. Happy June, by the way. The year of the lovers. We are now in your energy, Gemini. So, that's why I'm starting with you. This is going to be for Gemini Sun, Gemini fellow moons, and Gemini rising. Some of you are intuitively guided, which is great. That means you're paying attention to your intuition. So whatever brought you, I thank you and I welcome you. Let's get into your reading. We're going to use the Good Tarot. We're going to use the Luminous Tarot, and then we're going to use the Tarot of Night. Okay, but the Good Tarot will be the main spread. I'm hoping you can hear me okay. I've had, Mercury retrograde. I'm a Gemini moon, Virgo sun, so Mercury is all around me. And it has definitely affected my sound. I think it's fixed. Alright, everything's pre-shuffled, by the way. But let's go ahead and give these a cut. Okay, we're going to take off the top of the deck, and then we will shuffle for our, I call them clarifiers, but honestly, to me, they're just more of the story. All right, let's bring the lid down. I want to make sure you can see the beautiful roses that just came out. All right, let's begin. We have the Four of Swords. Four of Swords as your first card. This isn't bad. This means that you've probably been going through this healing period. Sometimes it could mean that you're ascending, and that can feel difficult, to be honest. It can feel difficult, and that's what I feel for some of you, like it's about you ascending, or let's put it in another way, your vibration is becoming higher, and it's because of this healing period. All right, we have the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so it's kind of telling us what you're healing from. Five of Pentacles is that it's, it almost feels like the Tower, because in the Five of Pentacles, something happens. Usually, it's unexpected. But in a way, I feel like subconsciously, it is expected. Five of Pentacles does talk about change. It's not the easiest change to go through, but what you're learning during this stage is empathy and compassion. And listen, I feel like healing takes place, and what happens, it starts to move you towards almost like your soul tribe. We have the Hermit, card of Virgo, who shares Mercury with you, by the way. To me, this is about seeking the light. I feel like the Hermit is ultimately the light for others, right? But I feel like sometimes, how can I be the light for others if I myself have not traveled that path? 9 just reminds me of a cycle. So I feel like, it's just talking about a period of time where something happened maybe out of your control. It took a moment to heal, to calm down, or, whatever the energy was. But ultimately, what did it do? It moved you into the Hermit's energy. Sometimes I feel like we have to go through the dark night of the soul before we start thinking like the Hermit. The Hermit's seeking those big answers. Like spiritual answers over this earthly plane, over this earthly journey. The Hermit receives it. And I feel like many of us are the hermit, whether you're a Virgo or not. The hermit to me is like, once you realize that you have that light, that light is within you, and it always has been, you then become a beacon of light to others. Whether that's consciously, subconsciously, you may not even know it. We have the Strength card. Interesting, we have Virgo and Leo side by side. I often look at that as my sun and myself. I feel like my sun comes out many times in our readings. You know, many of you know that he has crossed over. Strength card is about an inner strength. You know, when you look at the Four of Swords, not so much in this deck, there's usually 3 swords that are piercing the heart. And there's one sword that the person is lying on. That one sword is our own sword. It's our own voice, our own responsibility. It's clarity, right? It's being truthful and honest with ourselves, even if it hurts. You know what I mean? Even if... and I feel like, you know, truth be told, I feel like something did happen, but I don't think this is anything. I feel like it's moving you in place, to be honest. You know, number 8 is about a new beginning. 9 is the final reflection, right? The hermit has the final reflection over what was, over, you know, this seemingly tower energy, but then the healing of it. So the Strength card tells me you're able to move on. Strength card to me is very much like the Empress, right? She's part lion, part woman or man. It's about learning to tame the beast within ourselves, and that can just be our reaction, you know, the way we react to things, and you know, whatever it may be. But nonetheless, the healing and the strength. So not only are you healing like outerly, you're healing innerly too. Does that make sense? All right, let's see what's on the bottom of this deck. We have the 9 of Swords. Well, I'm glad it's on the bottom of the deck. 2 9s. Very different 9s. 9 of Swords is, first of all, the meaning of the card is unnecessary worry. And if I allow myself to continue in this unnecessary worry, some of the things I can expect are the feeling of doom, right? I start to feel like, you know, doom was, so doom will come again, and that's just not true. I mean, it can, I guess, if I stay in that energy. You know, it's like I'm expecting it, and therefore the universe gives you what you ask for. So the 9 of Swords is, I really want to look at that again, the reflection over that. I definitely feel like this is also healing of the mind and not just the heart. It's going to be healing of the thoughts. And when I say thoughts, you know, it's like those thoughts that we form in our mind that really aren't the truth. And it's based out of that 9 of Swords type of energy. Anyway, it's at the bottom of the deck. With the 10 of Cups over that, or under that. You know, I could talk about something that was, that is no longer. Alright, let's bring in the Luminous Tarot. And we're going to go right under it. We're definitely going to look for synchronicities in cards, in numbers, in everything. Ace of Cups. Under the 4 of Swords. Justice. I feel like, you know, especially with that 10 of Cups under the 9 of Swords, and now we have the Ace of Cups under the 4 of Swords, so, you know, it's definitely the healing of the heart, and then we have Justice. under that Five of Pentacles, something may have happened quickly. Listen, this is not something I'm predicting. This would have already happened. And justice would signify the cutting of the ties, right? The ties were cut. At the time, again, it can feel difficult, right? But justice, when it shows up in the reading, is also about making you whole again. Whole in what? Well, in love. You know, this Ace of Cups is unconditional love. Maybe someone else couldn't love me in the way that I should be loved, but that doesn't mean that there's not someone out there who can. We have the Emperor. Well, the Emperor coming under the Hermit. Can I tell you, I feel like some of your struggles led you into like a spiritually based business. The Emperor is the leader. The Emperor, card of Aries, by the way, I should say that. Aries and Libra, side by side here. Virgo and Aries. I mean, wow, there are a lot of people out, right? Anyways, the Emperor is the leader of the people. The Emperor is someone who is into making a plan, right? Wants to help those, you know, when he's in the upright, he wants to help others. And again, I feel like this is tying back to a lot of you moving into like spiritual type businesses. What do I mean by that? It doesn't have to mean like you're reading tarot, or it can be anything. It's just where almost like where I'm trusting these spiritual downloads. You know, like spirituality is just part of the business. Interesting too, I'm noticing these keys. It almost feels like the keys to the kingdom. And then, hello, the Magician. The Magician under the Strength card. That's kind of beautiful, right? This is movement. What's mirroring the Magician is the Ace of Cups. Again, up here, what's mirroring the Strength card? The Four Swords. Right? This is making you new. This is moving you out of that Nine of Swords type of energy. But you're being proactive at the same time. I have to say that. You know, some things have happened outside of our control. Okay, well, could it just be that I am moving into an area of my life that, you know, I feel is better. I don't know if that's the right word to say. Anyways, the Magician mirroring this Ace of Cups. You know, first of all, it's saying, whatever this Ace of Cups, listen, this is going to be a love for what you do, a love for your life, just a love of life again, a love of another. It can be all of those elements. The Magician is allowing it, right? The Magician is the teacher to the fool. Teaches the fool that everything that the fool needs for this new journey. Again, these 9 cycles coming to an end. And then boom, an 8, a new beginning. Well, the Magician, which is you, has all the power in the world to manifest what you truly want. What you truly want. Sometimes I thought I had what I wanted, and maybe that's what I wanted at the time, right? But as I move along this journey, I start to see that there's other things and other adventures and other people and all that. And, you know, sometimes, you know, this could, for some of you, could certainly talk about your job being severed, right? But then, you know, you find, and it may have taken a little time, but it may have moved you into like creating your own business. All right, what's on the bottom of the deck? The Chariot. Beautiful. Card of Cancer, your neighbor. The Chariot to me is a reward. It's a reward because you have found balance between the light and dark within yourself, between the masculine and the feminine within yourself. The Chariot comes because it's like the universe now knows that you can handle this Chariot. This Chariot is unlimited. Like there is no limit on where it can go. The only limit would be our human mind putting a limit on it. So I had to be ready for that, right? This is certainly can talk about movement. I feel like there's someone who's finding a really good deal on a car that may help you, like ultimately in your finances. So, little message. Okay, I'm going to bring in the Tarot of Night. I almost don't want to now, because this is a little bit of a little bit darker. Pre-shuffle. And we are going to shuffle here. Alright, well, first of all, Justice came out. These cards are dark. I know they're hard to see. It's interesting because Justice is coming out over the Four of Swords. Someone definitely cut ties. And maybe I didn't want to, or maybe I needed to, because what comes out next is the Five of Swords. And interesting enough, it's coming over the Five of Pentacles. So again, in a way, my hand being forced, but in the same breath, Five of Swords talks about the toxicity around me, the people around me. You know, these people around me don't feel like they have my back. It's fine. I'll have my own back. So I do feel like there are cutting of ties. But, you know, how, like I felt it in the beginning of the reading, even though there's these cutting of ties. And I don't know how long ago they happened. Because you may be, like, you may already be about to enter in the Magician's energy. Anyways. 2 5s. Change. And change. Something was going on that doesn't feel easy. It doesn't feel like it served you. And as hard as it may be, the cutting of the ties, whether it happened to you, you know, like against your will almost, or it's you doing it, it feels like, it almost feels like it needs to, or it needed to. Okay. We have the Ace of Swords. Wow, that is dark. Ace of Swords. Coming over the Hermit, by the way. Ace of Swords, I find that interesting because this is your voice. This is your truth. You know, this is the art of communication. The Emperor is right below the Hermit, and now this Ace. I mean, you're finding your truth. You're finding your voice. We have, look at that, the Hermit again. Wow. Hermit is now right over the Strength card. Interesting, the Hermit's right next to the Strength card, and now it's over it. With this Ace of Swords, you know, the Hermit ultimately does become the master teacher, as is the Magician, right? The Emperor can be self-employment, you know, leading myself, leading my people. I definitely feel like if there wasn't a cutting of certain ties, maybe this, like, I don't know, almost like, would you have found, eventually, yes, but how long would it have been before, like, I found my truth, my voice? Alright, we have the Wheel. Look at this, the Wheel is coming over the Ace of Cups. You know, sometimes we think it's over. Now, I don't feel like this is talking about, at this moment, someone of the past coming back. At least not this person, if this is a relationship. Even if it's a job, I don't know, because I feel like ultimately, like, all this difficult energy led you into a deep place, but also a very spiritual place. And I find in that spiritual place is where you really found your voice. I feel like, I don't know. Even the cutting of these previous ties, when the wheel shows up around it, it says that it was meant to be, and I know a lot of people are like, what do you mean, Sandy? Well, it usually, and sure, not everything, but usually there's some type of lesson within, the energy, like the Five of Swords. Well, there's toxicity around me that is not serving me, right? It's like feeling stabbed in the back, so there has to be a change. If there's not a change, then it does move to the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is on the bottom of the deck, though. So right away, I feel like there's movement forward. And then the Five of Pentacles is about, not giving up even through the difficult times. Keep moving forward, and pay attention to your intuition, because I definitely feel this Ace of Swords is also those downloads. But what I was saying is, I feel like, don't have regret, but there's a lot of wisdom that can be learned. We have the Nine of Wands, like, don't give up on me, baby. But I feel like don't give up on yourself. Nine of Wands talks about heavy responsibilities, no doubt. Usually this person, I feel like, is a spirit warrior. They're kind of worn and torn, but, it's like they're, well, not in this one, but usually like their clothes are almost coming off them because their spiritual muscles are bulging, right? They have gained like tremendous spiritual muscles. Some of you, I feel like you've just been on the cycle and it's saying it's coming to an end. It is coming to an end. We have the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles. This is all about knowledge. This is a path of knowledge coming over the Emperor and the Hermit and the Ace of Swords. Wow. Whatever I'm learning in here, or I'm learning, first of all, I feel like as it relates to your Pentacles, this can talk about a path that can be very abundant for you. Not just abundant, though, but enjoyable. And I feel like not just enjoyable, but also will lead you to like-minded individuals, like your soul tribe. And then we have the Empress. I don't know, I kind of love this Empress, right? She just looks like, like she's showing like life has worn me down, right? But she is the Empress. She will get up. And how interesting that the Empress is coming so close to the Emperor. The Magician over this Empress. It's almost like she's just like, I need a break. I need a break. Give me a minute. Alright. I don't want to make this long, but I do want to look at this Empress and the Magician. I want to... We have the Knight of Cups. I find it kind of interesting that the Knight of Cups, because I'm looking at the Empress, I'm looking at the Magician, but I am looking at the Emperor also. I'm looking at this block, and the Knight of Cups comes out. Earlier I said I felt like you're moving to like-minded energy, but that's what the Empress and the Emperor are. The Empress just looks like she's a little, what's the word? Just a little worn. for right now. But I have no doubt she's going to bounce back. Knight of Cups is about unexpected, this unexpected cup that offers some type of emotional fulfillment. The Knight of Cups is usually very unexpected. The Empress isn't expecting it. You know, not at all. This is going to talk about also finding love again, but being on what feels like a more authentic path for you. You know, like I tried and I tried and I tried and issues and blah, blah. You know, I feel like that's what was. And it must have felt like, you know, too much. Sometimes that Five of Pentacles can be the universe presenting, like, you know, tying your hands, like not giving you a choice but to move forward. But there is a big reason. Look at this. All right. We have the Page of Wands. Looks like my granddaughter. We have the Chariot again. Oh my gosh. And then look at this. We have the Ace of Pentacles. So this is talking about something that's coming into your physical world. It feels like a blessing. It feels like a blessing. You know, this Page of Wands. She's coming under the wheel and connected to the Ace of Cups. So let's talk about this page, because I feel like this is the energy of taking chances. That's what she does. Almost like, here is my master teacher, the magician. So, you know, like, I'm not afraid to take a chance. The Page of Wands is not afraid. Yes, she falls sometimes, right? But because the Empress and the Emperor here, I feel like ultimately I have the wisdom. I now have the wisdom that I one time lacked. The Chariot is the way. I find it interesting we have two chariots. And then the Ace of Pentacles, the blessing that's coming into your life. Look at this. We have the Seven of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. You know, Seven of Pentacles, I feel like what this is talking about is these aces. By the way, you have three of them, right? You have the Ace of Swords, you have the Ace of Cups, and you have the Ace of Pentacles. These are your seeds of intention. This is your tree. Well, there's not a tree on this one. This is your tree, right? This talks about your soul's intention, and, you know, sometimes like the universe might get involved because it's your soul really wanted to experience something, but the human condition wants us, like, it's hard to change, period. It's hard for change, but nonetheless we have to learn, right? Because that's what the wheel is. It's the cycles. Sometimes we're at the top, sometimes we're at the bottom. But when we're at the bottom, we got to remember that we can get back to the top. So I just feel like this is saying that some of you are going to take a chance in love again. And I have to say, with the Emperor and the Empress here, I don't fear it for you at all. With the two chariots here, I feel like there is no limit where it can go. Ace of Pentacles tells us it's coming into your physical world. When? Well, it's coming over the Knight of Pentacles. I don't know. Unexpected. You know, it's interesting too, because I kind of feel like this Emperor is looking at this Empress who's kind of like disheveled, let's say. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I feel like, why? Because I feel like these two can feel each other's soul, right? Beyond what I look like, what my house looks like, you know what I mean? The surface things. So, some of you, just, you know, all of you, I feel like this is about taking chances on yourself, wherever it may lead. The sky, well, there is no limit. There is no limit. Infinity. As above, so below. I love you guys. I really enjoyed your reading. I hope you do. You'll let me know through your comments. As always, thank you. Tell me if you want me to continue these you know, I'm trying to keep them shorter. Your monthly for June's already done. I'll link it at the end of the video. Plus a couple other videos that I think may help you. Definitely help you. So, anyways, I love you guys. Thank you for everything you do for me. It does not go unnoticed, and you have my appreciation. I love you so much. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye-bye. Fingers crossed that this recorded okay. Bye-bye.